Alright guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a good day. So, not really the video I want to make today, but as you've seen with the title, I'm going to go ahead and address the Nashville incident. So prayers for those out there in Nashville dealing with all this, the whole community, police, EMTs, you know, everybody had to show up and deal with this, the doctors, emergency room personnel. There's gonna be a lot of people dealing with this, and I'd just like to take the opportunity to, instead of, you know, looking into who this person is and who that person is, and I just want to talk about how we can prevent it in the future, and training, because in my opinion, that's what it's going to take to hopefully make a lot of this go away. Will it all go away 100%? I don't think so, but we can certainly, because one's too many, guys. Even one is too many. But if we can come together and everything fall into place, hopefully something like this won't happen in the future. And I've looked over, I've watched everything, body cam footage, interviews. I kind of hate to see some of the direction the news stations are taking it, but having a YouTube channel, I can take it in a direction the way I want to, and the way you guys are familiar with. I mean, that's you know what to expect from me. So it gives me a voice and an outlet to kind of speak my mind and my insight on things, and you guys tend to like it, and I appreciate that. Alright, so the person that done all of it, her name was Audrey Hale, and we all know that from coming out, you know, from the news coming out and everything, you know, Audrey was a transgender, which really, I mean, it does kind of have a bearing on it, but it doesn't, because even if Audrey wasn't transgender, there's multiple reasons why somebody can end up doing this. But if it all comes together, I don't think it'll happen as much, or maybe at all, hopefully. She sent her friend Avriana Patton. Prayers for her, man. Good Lord. Can you imagine someone you care about sending you something like that, and then it happens? And then her mom, NORMA Hale. Friends and family, just pray for them, guys. Just pray for them. So what I'm going to get into first is, you know, investigators have come out and said that Audrey had resentment for having to go to that school. And that school, I think, was maybe against a lot of what Audrey stood for. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. I think that school was basically everything against what she stood for. But then on top of that, you throw in mental illness. We all know now that, you know, she was suffering from an emotional disorder, which in my opinion ended up turning into a full-blown mental health crisis. So that's what I want to talk about. Is I know there's been some laws passed where you can't purchase them while you're seeking professional mental health. It'll flag you, supposedly. Now, I don't know if this varies from state to state, but it's gonna have to take more than just weapon laws. I'll call it weapon laws. You know how YouTube is with the G word. This is going to have to be a combined effort between mental health professionals, law enforcement, and the everyday average Joe Blow. You and me. Because what seems like now is we'll just say a very stressful situation at first, not a full-blown mental crisis. A very stressful situation. You kind of want to closely take a look at it now and go, okay, could this blow up into a full-blown mental health crisis? Because that's when it gets really bad, guys. That's when it gets really bad. You know, there's a difference between somebody just having a bad day and a full-blown mental health crisis. So it's gonna take all of us. I mean, and we've got to care more about each other, respect each other's feelings more. Obviously, she targeted that school for a reason. I'm not sure how they treated her. Which brings me to another question is, I want to try to find out why people, when they go into a full-blown mental health crisis, why some of them choose to hurt others. When someone goes into a full-blown mental health crisis, why do some of them choose to hurt others? Case in point, we know Audrey was having a mental health crisis, and she didn't like that school. But in her thing to her friend, she said that she didn't want to live no more, and she just wanted her life to end. So why? And this is what I want to know. I would love to do some research on this. Get some research going on this. Why did it go from just her wanting to end hers to ending just going to that school? Now, I understand that she probably hated the school, and there's a lot of stuff, but what? There's a lot of stuff people hate, but why can't they just end it for themselves and not put what you're going through on everybody else. I'm trying to word this the right way, guys. Very, very sensitive subject. But yeah, I'd like to do some research and find out why somebody that, and it's not all of them, it's just some of them, they'll go into a mental health crisis and just start taking out random people. I mean, if she wasn't happy with her life and just wanted to end it, she could have done that on her own with what she had and not drug anybody else into this mess. But she did. So that's what I would love to try to fix. And it's going to, like I said, it's going to take more than just weapon control laws. It's going to take a combination of, psychiatrists, weapon laws, and just somebody to talk to maybe bring you down off that edge. You know what I mean? Maybe Audrey didn't have someone to bring her down off that edge, guys. If someone could have just brought her down off the edge before all this happened, people would have their kids with them today. People would have their, if they were moms, they'd have their teachers or whatever they were at the school. I think there were maybe some teachers that if someone could have just talked her off that edge before she went through with it. And again, it don't have to be a professional that does it. It could have just been her friend. It just makes me wonder what kind of signs was present before all this went down. What kind of red flags, what signs. But in my opinion, guys, it's going to take a combination of a lot of stuff to keep this from happening in the future. Not just weapon laws. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And the next thing last thing I want to talk about in this situation, I'm getting ready to pass the lake, so hopefully you guys can see it. It's weird to see something so pretty and talk about something so horrific. Officer training during these situations, because some of these are just not, mental health related. Some of these are basically evilness carried out with a purpose. Like, I can't think of that one school, but those boys carried out an evil act. I think they wore like black trench coats. I can't think of that right now. That's pretty bad when there's been so many you can't remember which one. That's right there. Yeah, think about that for a second, guys. But officer training plays a key role in preventing, once it starts going down, you got seconds. Every second matters. Every second matters. And when you see, a lot of people don't see this, but behind the scenes, well, for what I see and experience and stuff like that, or get to see, you have different agencies training with each other, and there's a reason for that. Communication. Because when something like this goes down, everybody responds. You know, I think that school was downtown in the city, so you got city metro showing up. You probably got, you know, Williamson County showing up, or whatever county it was in. You probably got all the counties, all the cities. I mean, even if there's TBI agents, if there was a TBI agent living down the street that was off duty that day, he's going to be responding. And that's why a lot of different agencies train with each other, different departments, different counties, cities, you know, like neighboring cities, neighboring counties. Like here where I'm at, you'll have, like, a lot of times you'll have Sevierville City Police and Sevier County training with each other, because, you know, if it just so happens they're at that door together, getting ready to go through that door to confront a shooter, they've trained together. Even though they work for two separate departments, their communication is going to be like that. And that's what you want. You want training to kick in and be like, if the only time you ever seen that other officer was in training, you're going to look at him and go, this is it. This is what we were trained for. I mean, you're not going to sit there and talk about it, but you're going to look at each other and be like, let's do it. They're on the same page to eliminate the threat. Save lives. And I think that training for all these guys is of the utmost importance. I mean, if you watch the body cam footage, you heard the loud alarms going off. You got all these alarms going off. From what I've seen on the body cam footage, you got the alarms going off, several alarms that are louder than crap. And that's where communication comes into play. You got to be able to communicate with the other officers. With the alarms going off, you got to be able to concentrate, focus on your surroundings. You can't get tunnel vision. There was a body laying on the floor, or I'll just say a victim. A lot of stuff that these guys have to pay attention to, along with talking to each other, communicating with each other. Now, if they go into a vacant building, just a vacant, you know, like a vacant house that's been, you know, condemned or something, it's not going to have those sirens and everything going off that they have to try to, you know, talk through. I've heard those. If you've ever been in school when those sirens go off, I mean, your ears are hurting. It hurts. That's how loud it is. It's a piercing noise. And to have to communicate with several other people when that, cause you really just want to, like, put some earplugs in your ears is really what you want to do. And then on top of that, you know, the officers have got to, while that is blaring in their ears, they've got to listen for screams, gunfire. I said the G word. I hope I don't get taken down. But yeah, I mean, training, I think officers should be able to do training in actual schools and have the alarms go off. I don't know if they do or not, but I think it'd be a great idea. That way it gives them real world experience I'll say close real world experience. I mean, no one scenario is going to be the same, but at least you would have the experience of those alarms going off, having to deal with that, having to deal with communicating with, you know, the officers in and around you, the victims, the suspect. You know, I think it would do a world of good if, like, on weekends, that some of the schools will donate their school for training purposes and let these officers get, I don't know if they do or not, but I think it'd be a good idea. I think it'd be a good idea. And it'd be good to have them understand where, you know, the layout of the schools. It'd give them a good idea of that, because in this scenario, they figured out that, you know, the sounds were coming from upstairs, and they had to access the upstairs. So there's you know, there's a lot to it that people don't know about and they don't think about. So yeah, the two things I want everybody to take out of this video, if anything, is it's going to take more than just weapon laws to keep this from happening. It's going to take that. It's going to take a huge mental health initiative. And it's also just going to take, it's going to have to take on a human initiative too, and just be caring about other people. And if you think someone may be getting ready to have a mental health crisis, you might be the one person that could make the difference, you know. And you're not a professional, you're just an average, you're just a friend, but you might be able to make the difference. And then the training. The other thing is, you know, if you want that, and the training is what I want y'all to take away from this. So if any of y'all that are watching this are county commissioners, city employees, whatever, think about that. Ask your local sheriff's department, police departments, whatever, even fire, medical. See if you can get it. See if they would be okay with training. If a school can donate the school for one weekend to all the emergency personnel, so that they can reenact, or that they can train in the closest to a real world scenario that they can get. I think it would help. I think it really would. Let me know what you guys think. But again, I'm not making this video to pick apart this and pick apart that. It's just I want to see if there's something there where we can make a difference in the future, and, you know, to make it to where it don't happen at all, really. But if it does, you know, these guys, they've got the training they need to do what they need to do and save lives. You know what I mean, guys? Because it's not like showing up to a store on a shoplifting call. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed my insight in this video. Drop some comments on what you think about it, and just keep praying for it. Those guys Nashville's got a long road ahead of them, guys. They've got a lot of healing to do. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys on the next video.